Hey, welcome back to another review. Today, we're going to be talking about Sasha's album that he released in 2002, Airdrawndagger. And the funny thing is that they labeled this album as his debut album. And I find it funny because he's been making music since '94. His debut album came out in 1994, with the Quad Collection, and I find it to be kind of hilarious that they I guess the executives or whatever, they decided to market his second album as his debut album. And I've been thinking about it, and honestly, the thing is that back in 1994, uh, America was nowhere near uh, in regards to dance music. Dance music was not off. It was not even considered. You know, back in 1994, America was all about the Seattle sound and grunge music. Uh, Dance music was literally underground, as in non-existent. Um, but across the pond of Atlantic Ocean in the UK and Europe in 1994, dance music, techno, trance music was was everything. It was so popular there back in 1994 in Europe, UK. And over here back in America, everybody was talking about the Seattle sound, Nirvana, and of course Kurt Cobain. He took his life, and it was unfortunate. But of, once again, the popular music in America was grunge music, guitars, and just essentially garage bands um, were the thing here in America. So why would they label Airdrawndagger, Sasha's second album, as his debut? The only thing I can think of is that when it came out in 2002, America finally was actually paying attention to trance music, dance music. And by 2002, when this album, Airdrawndagger, came out, trance music was very popular. So I think, and in regards to Sasha, by 2002, he released Global Underground, Mixed Cities, by with in San Francisco. Then he also had Global Underground. Mixed Cities were very popular. He released a really popular one in Ibiza, which also uh, he released Expander, a single off of the Ibiza Global Underground CD. So the thing that I think is it was all for the money grab. The executives or the labels of the music labels wanted to make money off of Sasha's popularity, and so they labeled it as his debut album. When in actuality, his debut was way back in 1994. And even prior to that, he was one of the superstar DJs that was uh, popular in Great Britain, and was on the cover of the first issue of magazine. And so, you know, all I can deduce this into is that the record labels wanted to make money off of Sasha's popularity, essentially. And essentially, Sasha, uh, his album Airdrawndagger is in many ways much better than the Quad Collection. Well, you might find some people that say the Quad Collection, his debut in '94, was much better. But I can see, listening to Airdrawndagger, it is a very well produced trance album with the help of other British producers like Spooky and and amongst others, which I'll mention later. But I have to say that after listening to this album, not only is the music good, but some of the song titles really got me thinking. And I looked up the titles of some of the songs, like Mr. Tittles, which is essentially a homeless cat. I heard that, yeah, a homeless cat in the UK that pretty much uh, lived lived their life in a certain area in UK, and everybody fed the cat, and the fat the the cat became famously well fed, and they called him Mr. Tittles. And uh, if you set that aside, the actual song is actually really good. I mean, it starts off, it's not like a total trance song that you can put on the main floor and everybody starts dancing. It's this type of song that you can hear in your car or at home, after you go dancing at a club, or just something that this uh, this new audience of trance listeners can hear, you know, um, at home, essentially. And the other tracks on the album, the first track is essentially an ambient intro, which kind of flows into Mr. Tittles. And there's other tracks on the album that are very good. The closing track off the album, a lot of people say is very good. Very, it's tense and very well produced. I'll give it that it is well produced, but it's not the typical like hard trance uh, single that you would hear at a dance club. It's called it's actually the last song off of the album is the first and only single off of the album, and it's called Wavy Gravy, which, if you listen to it, you can kind of the beats kind of sound like waves, and they're kind of loopy, and sound. You could kind of think of gravy as being wavy, and um, so that's why it's called that. But for to be honest with you, you know, it's a good track, but it's not like a track that like Judge Jules or Julian de Roridan would play on like one of his last songs on his DJ set. Uh, so yeah, I mean the album itself is well produced, and I'll let you know more about it right now. All right. So as I said before, the producers on the album are Sasha, and then Charlie May, which is he's part of Spooky. And also there's Junkie XL. That's the real name of Junkie XL is Tom Holkenborg from the Netherlands. And then the last one is James Holden, which is quite interesting because you don't really hear much about James Holden during this time, but apparently he helped write one of the songs. So there's one song that Junkie XL or Tom Holkenborg helped write, and there's a second song that James Holden helped write. But for the most part, the majority of the writing is Sasha and the spooky guy. So as far as the tracks go, does the album flow well? I mean, you know, do the songs flow together, and does it sound like an album, or does it sound just like miscellaneous songs that were put together and just put on an album? Well, I think the flow of the album is much better than Quat Collection. I would say that the Quat Collection from 1994 might have individual songs that might be actually better, but the flow of the album doesn't go very well because there's a lot of remixes on the Quat Collection. And like I said before, on the Quat Collection, the songs that are the best are the Quat songs. There's 3 of them. On this album, this album flows very well, one after another, right? It starts off with like an ambient song that's about a minute and a half long, and it just continuously flows into Mr. Tittles, and it's not exactly like a really hard song. It's kind of a very well produced album, well produced songs, and the placement of the songs are go well. I think somewhere in the middle of the album or near the end, it kind of falls apart, and kind of, you know, you're trying to stay with the music and kind of feel the album, you know. But for me, the beginning and like 1/3 of the way through the album, it's really good. But then by the end of the album, it kind of tapers off in regards to you know, just thinking, what were they thinking? You know, like, um, Wavy Gravy, like I said, was the only single, and it's the last song off the album. The songs that are my favorite are the first few songs, the the Mr. Tittles, and then also the few songs after that. As far as the rating of this album goes, I would definitely give it. I know I gave the Quad Collection like a 9 out of 10 or something like that. So this album is actually, you know, a little bit better than that, and so I'd give it like a 9.7 out of 10. There are a few songs like the Requiem, which I would think that after a few more lessons, or like just constantly having the album in your car when you drive around, you might start enjoying the songs that are kind of tucked away down the line of the album, you know, like track number 6, 7, 8, you know. But track 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the ones that are just very good. So, you know, 9.7 out of 10, I think is very generous. I believe that, you know, you can start off with Sasha's debut, or you can also start off with this one. Either way, Sasha doesn't disappoint. He is a great DJ, mixer, and also producer. And his producing skills are shown very well on this album, Airdrawndagger. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You should hear it at least once from beginning to end, and then you'll be surprised that some of the songs you will definitely enjoy the first time you hear it. They're really good. So that's it for me for now. I'll be back with another review soon, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Give me a like and subscribe to the channel, and please comment if you've known this album for a long time, and tell me what songs you like, and tell me your personal experiences of how you learned about Sasha. I always like reading those comments. So please leave something down there and subscribe, and I'll be back with a new review and a new artist. Probably I'm gonna still stick with Sasha and review his Scene Delete album, which is a more kind of like a down-tempo ambient album from what I've been hearing so far. But I do have other artists that I personally want to review. For instance, there's Carl Cox. He released an album in late 2023, and probably I still have to review an album. I kind of like Luke Vibert. There's a couple of CDs that and albums I'd like to review of his music, and then probably some drum and bass. Maybe I should jump into Prodigy, and well, I've known Prodigy for a very long time, and I love them very much. They're something else. There's only one Prodigy, and so that's kind of an idea of where I'm going. I'm probably gonna review some Paul Van Dyk albums as well. I'm gonna stick with reviewing some freestyle albums, maybe some guy producers, because I've been reviewing a lot of female producers, or that well, actually most of the producers are male, but there are some that are female, and I would like to kind of keep that going with the freestyle. And let's see what else. Just subscribe, and you'll know. You'll see it soon on this channel. So I'm signing out. Until next time, have a good one. Bye bye.